What did you just say? Go ahead.
It's like a video make of somebody about ready to go out on jihad and blow themselves up.
Okay. All right.
Maybe not.
Talk to me, Lynn.
Looks like I got on the hot seat again.
You are.
So what you want to?
Where'd you get your ass blowed up in Vietnam? Yace got blowed up here. Yace got blowed up there.
Well, first time I don't remember the date, but I got blowed out of a Jeep. I got blowed in the ditch. Rockets was coming in and hit. I could hear them whistling. And you just couldn't do nothing about it. You ride along, you don't know where to stop, you don't want to go. And next thing you know, you're blowed out in the ditch. So the Jeep kept going, but it cut off because I had it going slow anyway. But no recognition for that. You just glad you didn't have holes all in it, and you pick up and go on. Hurt my knee, got a big old knot on my knee from that. But I'm good to go. That was first time. Second time was April the 27th, 1969. It's outside Da Nang. It was a Marine ammo dump. And we had bombs in there of all sizes. Had 500 pounds all the way up to 2,000 pound bombs. And they had 15 units full of 2,000 pound bombs. I don't know how many 1,000 pound bombs, but I know how many units the big stuff was. Because this, you can look it up on the computer. A lot of people write about it and put it on there, but I'm telling you, I'm the last one in there, and I was the last one to leave there. Because I came from 30 miles away to get in that. I got in there, and it was hot metal was going off everywhere. You could see the explosions going off before you got there. Not big explosions, but it was got in some dynamite, then it got in some Willipede rounds, and then it was just leapfrogging on through the ammo dump. Drove through there, got through it with hot metal flying in front of you. That was a little iffy because it's not going up in the air, it's whistling right straight across in front of you. Yeah, you know, if you hadn't been through anything like that, it's an experience. Well, that was just the beginning. Because we get through, then I passed some guys that was trapped in a command bunker. Not a command bunker, but it was command for that ammo dump bunker. 4 or 5 guys. I had to turn around and go back and get them guys. Got them out of there. Went over the hill, and to my surprise, there was a fire truck sitting there. Who in the world would have ever believed you had a fire truck sitting there? And it came from the Da Nang airport. They sent their fire truck over there to keep from having to worry about the whole Da Nang blowing up as far as they blowing all the airplanes up. This wasn't a Jeep, this was a Scout. And I got to say that I was riding with a sergeant major and a colonel, and of course me. This was a Sunday morning that I was on call. They got me, the sergeant major got me and said, let's go. They already had another guy in the seat and jerked him out and put me in it. Well, I didn't know what was coming on because I just got thrown in there. And I had just said, another day, another dollar. I don't ever say that anymore. I say 50 cents, another day, another 50 cents. But anyway, we got over there, and I got it mixed up because I'm trying to, this is my first time of doing this, and I'm trying to remember the sequence. But I just thought that was interesting that I almost didn't make that ride. Anyway, got over there, and I'm next to, or sitting in this vehicle after these guys got out of it. And the windows are up, not up. You can't get the back windows up. It's like a Scout. And a big bomb goes off. This thing rocks, and both side windows pop out, just like you had taken your feet, kicked them out. So I said, my goodness, this stuff is getting louder than I thought. So everybody started getting out of there. And the thing about this is, the whole company had time to evacuate the place because this grass fire started, got into this dynamite, and they said the kids started it. That's not so. They waited till the grass, the high, the goose did. The grass is high, the wind was just right, blowing toward that ammo. There was too much in there, and it got into it before anybody knew what was going on, and it started going off, and then you couldn't do anything with it. Next thing, everybody left. Well, we go and get across the road and get into command headquarters bunker. You got a radio guy in there, and Da Nang is wanting to know at the airport what's happening. So I've got to go outside, climb up in the tower, see what's going off, get down, and then run back into this bunker to tell them what's going on. Now, the ground is shaking so you can't run. I've always watched earthquake movies. I'm wondering why the guys don't run, why they don't run. When the ground is shaking, you can't hold your balance. You can crawl, but you can't stand up. About the second time that I went back up in this tower, and the colonel's up in there too, because I wasn't smart enough to know where everything was in there. He would tell me what's going off, what to tell him at the radio operator, and then I would go back and tell him what's going on in the bunker, the radio got for Da Nang. As it gets brighter and harder, one of these times, looks like all the traces in the world, all the firecrackers you've ever seen, the fireworks you ever seen, was coming at us. And when it hit the tower, it blew the tower over, and we was in it. And I hit the ground, and it's you just hoping that you're all right. Colonel's all right, I'm all right. Trying to get inside, and I'm making it, but Colonel ain't making it too good. So I ain't thinking about him right now, because these bombs are so powerful now. When they're going off, it's like the pressure goes out and back in immediately. And if you got your mouth open, it pulls the air out of your lungs. You can't breathe. So I immediately figured that out. But you can time the bombs, the big stuff going off, because these big stacks are going off at one time. It looks like a atomic bomb blast. You got to hold your breath. But also you got to be spread out, eagle across the ground, to keep from start rolling, because it's rolling. And at one time a big rock started rolling by me, and I'm holding on to a post, trying to keep from getting blown away, just laying flat on the ground. That big rock rolls by, and I throw my leg to the side to keep from running over my leg. And this rock was about 3 foot diameter, and it's just rolling it like it's a little piece of paper. So we're talking about some powerful bombs and powerful blasts, unbelievable shaking of the earth. Finally got to where we could, in between the blast, to get in the command bunker. Got inside there. I didn't know it at the time. There was 2 Vietnamese girls in there. I don't know how they got in there, but they were there. I guess they got caught up in it. Nobody paid any attention to them. So the place looks like, just like you see in the war movies, all that dirt and dust and stuff falling down on you. You felt like the place is going to cave in any minute. They sent a tank in to evacuate us. The tank got there, and it was outside. I don't remember the timeline, because everything kind of runs together. When your adrenaline's pumping and you feel like you don't know if it's going to cave in any minute, you know you can't go outside. We started, everybody was going out 30-minute intervals. The radio guy goes, and those two gals go at some point, I don't know what. All I know is I'm last. I'm told to be last. Sergeant Major was on the ladder when I climbed up on that tank to drop. I wasn't going to climb down. I'm dropping in, because this hot metal is going everywhere. before I could get dropped in there, another one of these big explosions go off, and I'm holding on, and my feet and all just go straight up behind me, flapping in the breeze, and I can't not hold on, and it blows me about 150 feet in the air before we ever get to the ground. And somehow or another it knocked me out. But when I come to, I'm stretched out, just like an angel had laid me out on the ground, stretched out, my arms are down by my side, just prone, just like I laid there and go to sleep, or did one, I don't know which. But I'm looking up and I see blue sky. It can't be blue sky, but I'm looking for the angels. And I'm looking around, where's the angels, where's the angels? But then it finally hit me, everything turned black again. So I was just hoping that that's where I was. But I had a fear of losing arm and legs. So I had my hands down by my side, and I eased them together to see if I had my hands. I did. I felt I had my arms. Then I reached down. I felt my legs, make sure I had my legs. Then I was up and running, but I did not know at the time, but I was in a minefield. They hadn't mined that part of it, and I didn't know it at the time. So that's another thing that I guess I'm using up another one of my lives. But nobody come, you know, I don't know how long I was out. I don't know how long I laid there. All I know is that I was able to get up and go because the adrenaline was pumping when I finally realized where I was at, what's going on. I said, I got to get out of here. And I always say that I landed on my head and it didn't hurt me. Well, it wound up hurting me, but I was able to go and get back in that tank. Now the tank has got to go back toward the explosion before it can turn. This tank is going back and explosions go off and it stands this tank up on its end, just like it's climbing a mountain and it's sitting there raised up in the air like it's just up like this, and it's just tick, 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 tick. And that staff sergeant in there was hollering, kick it, kick it, kick it, and get us out of here. It finally dropped down. It did. It dropped down. I knew it's okay when it finally dropped down because it didn't flip all the way over on its back. And we finally got turned, and then after that, the explosion was behind us. And we went on the other side of the mountain, and that's where most of the guys were, on the other side of the mountain. And set up a perimeter, and we sat there and listened to that because that ammo went off all that day, all night, the next day, because it went off 2 days straight. And the ammo demolition guys that went back in there they had a bet that anybody could put their hand on the ground without touching a piece of metal would win the pot. Nobody ever won the pot. The ground was just covered with metal. You couldn't go anywhere. These big bombs, by the way, have what they call baseballs in them. They're just like hand grenades. And when they come out, they got little fins on them. And when they come out, they'll spin, and all it is leaded steel balls covered. And then when they hit the ground, then they go off, and it's like a bunch of hand grenades. Well, the ground is just saturated with those. Because we went back in there, and it was so bad that we couldn't even stay. We had to go. And a few months later, somebody knew that I was in that, and carried me back over there. And it blew holes in the ground, about 100 foot wide, just like a funnel in the ground, 100 foot wide and that deep. It just goes to a point, just one after the other, and some of them even run together. And I was sent off and got the classified info on how much ammo was there, and I don't recall that, but it was a lot. It would be more impressive if I told you how much tonnage it was that went up, but it was an unbelievable amount that went up in those 2 days. But I'm through.
Good job.
Wow.
Wow. Cluster bombs?
Huh?